Hi, I'm Andy Ellis. I'm the host of this show and a potential Green Party candidate for governor of Maryland in 2026. I'm using this show to highlight interesting people and ideas that help me and you to understand what is happening and what is possible. You can learn more about the campaign by going to gogreen2026.com. Guests on this show do not necessarily support my campaign or the Green Party. They've agreed to come on to discuss ideas and issues. And of course, click the subscribe button on YouTube so you can keep up to date with this podcast.
There's a third leg to most of the General Assembly sessions, and that's lobbyists. And there's a lot of them in Maryland and a lot of them in Annapolis that are active. How would you deal with that group of special interest lobbyists?
Yeah, so look, I mean, lobbyists, just like the General Assembly, are a part of the system. We're going to have to deal with them. We can't ignore them entirely. And it's not necessarily a bad thing that people get together and have collective interests and appeal to the state about those collective interests. What we're not going to let them do is dictate our agenda. And we're not going to let them use their campaign donations, which are often a thing that they do, in order to try to force their will, to force their way on folks. That's not going to happen. What we will do is make sure that they have access like they do now. They can make their case. They can do things like that. But I think underlying this question is a question about campaign finance. And campaign finance is really where the lobbyists get a lot of their strength, because they can make donations to legislators, they can make donations to executives and things like that. And they can use those donations as a means of wielding power. I don't know that we can solve much of the campaign finance problems that, I think are nationwide and dictated at a federal level by a Supreme Court that's pretty lax on campaign finance. But what I do think we can do is I think we can use public financing of campaigns, candidates, parties, even ballot initiatives in order to counter some of the influence that lobbyists have via campaign finance. So we're going to spend a lot of time looking at campaign finance, at public financing as a means of trying to broaden the group of people who get to have power and get to be in government. The third part about this, I think, is that we're going to really think about who has access to the people in government and power. One of the problems with lobbyists right now is that it feels a lot of times to most folks like those lobbyists have access to government and legislators, and regular people don't. And so one of the things that I'd love to do is institute a series of regular, probably monthly town halls that bring everyday Marylanders to the table in order to share their issues. Now, there's some really good academic research on ways to do this that are genuinely inclusive and genuinely shape the conversation with public input, as opposed to being sort of dog and pony political shows put on by a candidate and things like that. So we're going to bring some of those academics who are working on some of those excellent public engagement, public access, and public town hall solutions into the government and have them help us develop a set of town halls that allows each Marylander to hear different perspectives, to hear different ideas, and allows those selected to participate in town halls to really have the ear of the governor, of the legislature, and of the state agencies. I think these things all together help counter the power of lobbyists. Again, we're not going to make lobbyists go away, but if we can do things that empower folks that are not lobbyists to also have power and access, then I think that, we set a stage for where the lobbyists are important and they have roles to play, but they're not they don't have the outsized role that they have right now.